create a research project, I'm going to go to Content, Add Content, and at the very bottom, I'm going to see Research Project. So the only field that's actually required on this page is title. So I'm just going to go ahead and put Test Project in for the moment. Underneath here, we can add our investigators and additional investigators. Now, the difference between these two are that investigators are the people who have profiles on your site. So if I start typing in a coworker's name, I can select him from the list in the dropdown. But if I want to add someone from outside the site, so say a John Smith, maybe he works at a different university or a government agency, I'm going to add him here. And then if I want to add more to each list of the investigators and additional investigators, I'm just going to hit add another item. Now, you'll notice on the grid page, there were areas for images. Where we add those in is going to be under this image field. So you can see it says this field is required for research projects displayed in grid format. Otherwise, a placeholder will be shown. So this doesn't have to be necessarily a custom image. You always have options to use the stock image library. However, it's probably normally a little more engaging if you do use a custom image here. This doesn't actually affect the list format, so if you're in that one, you don't need to worry about this field. And then underneath here, we have the body field, so we can fill in some placeholder text, just some description about the research project that our student or faculty or staff has created. And then finally, we can hit save. So technically, our research project is done right here. If I go back to my research project's main page, you can see it showing up in the list with our investigators over here, Brian Canini and John Smith. And then if I click on this, I can actually edit it directly from here. And now down here, we have a few more options. These departments, year, and other are places where we can add in taxonomy for your research projects. So if you want to filter them different ways, maybe by departments, maybe you have another way to filter them, we can help you fill in some taxonomy areas that you can select while you're editing this. So for instance, if year had a couple different years in there, we could be checking them off which ones this project belongs to. Totally an optional feature as well. And share on social media adds share buttons to the page. You'll see right here at the bottom. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of that good stuff. Of course, we can also delete and roll back revisions to the page as well as clone it. And then one last thing that I want to point out. Some research projects may not need a description page. Maybe they have their own website. It's potentially a large multimedia project or database that a student or faculty staff has created. So instead of actually making this link here go to a page on the site, so for instance, creating multi-positional web marketing, this goes to our standard page. If we want, we can have it actually just link off to another site entirely. So compounding problems and marketing sway focus. I can click on this, and it brings me to an example site that I had set up earlier. So if we want a feature like that, all we need to do is on our project, instead of filling in any of this, we want to put our URL in here. So for instance, say I'm just going to direct people to Google. Like that. If I hit save, now you're going to see the project page really briefly here. However, if I go to my research projects list, you'll see that test project now goes to Google when I click on it. Now that we've completed this course, you can choose the full playlist with the link on the right side of the screen, or visit our channel with the link on the left.